Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com. A Crossroads University stands one vote away from a historic system change. The House decision happening today. A film marked by tragedy arrives in theaters. How a cinematographer's final work is being remembered as a Western makes its controversial debut. President Trump takes aim at public media with the stroke of a pen. The executive order could end federal support for two public broadcasting giants.
And rather stormy this morning. You see storms roll through Calhoun County, now out into the Gulf, moving away and weakening. Quiet for the meantime, but not staying that way. More storms ahead. I'll give you the details coming up in my forecast.
Coming up in sports, we got some state track updates, so stay tuned for that. And we also got some highlights of Victoria East's first playoff game.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Friday. Hope you're enjoying the end of your work week, hopefully.
I am.
You just go back to work, Trey. What are you talking about?
There you go.
And we have a lot going on. Tomorrow is Election Day.
Yes, get out there and vote if you haven't.
That's right. Be sure to make it out there. It is Saturday. It is Cinco de Mayo weekend, but we've been telling you about early voting, so it's your last chance.
There you go. You need to make your voice heard, of course. Very important that you do so. And we heard rain showers and storms this morning with thunder in Victoria and most of the Crossroads, especially the southern half, for this complex of storms that rolled through. It produced some severe weather earlier. There were some warnings out for Calhoun County and Refugio County. That has moved away and weakened and moving out into the coastal waters, and already has done so. And we're quiet in the meantime, so pretty quiet for the majority of the morning hours to most of the afternoon today. But it'll be revving up again late tonight and early on Saturday. Storms roll through from the north, courtesy of a frontal boundary making its way in. There's some storms that roll through Sea Drift area and along 185 near Port O'Connor, moved on out now. And so we're quiet for the most part. So some wet streets out there. Be careful out there. It rained earlier in Victoria. You kind of see a little bit of some wet streets there in this live view. Still cloudy skies in the Crossroads, 68 degrees. It's cooled down a little bit thanks to that storm complex that moved through earlier. Northerly winds near 3 miles per hour, beginning to pick up a little bit more, mainly from the southeast later on, kind of varying winds with the storms that roll through, changing the direction a little bit, 96% humidity. And the moisture is definitely in place. So we have a fuel for that, for storms later on. Need a frontal boundary to lift that moisture up. That's exactly what's going to happen later on today. What are the chances for us here in severe weather threat? And what's your forecast for next week? Got you covered a little bit later on. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Local leaders have made their case. The Senate has approved it, and now the House decides. House Bill 5150, the bill transferring the University of Houston Victoria to the Texas A&M system, will be heard on the House floor today. The House heard testimony for the move from Victoria Mayor Dwayne Crocker, Victoria County Judge Ben Zeller, and UHV President Bob Glenn in April. The state Senate has already passed the bill for transfer. Now, if the House passes it, it will go to the governor's desk. And UHV President Bob Glenn announced his intention to retire in August. Glenn said it was an honor to serve the South Texas region as president of UHV. He says he hopes he'll leave a positive legacy to help the university and its students to take those next steps. He became the 10th university president for UHV on August 1st, 2018. He previously served as president of Athens State University for 10 years. How a Victoria County teen faces legal consequences after claiming to have an explosive in his backpack. Howell Middle School alerted the Victoria County Sheriff's Office school resource officer. After an investigation, deputies determined the threat to be false. The student was taken into custody and detained for a false report to induce an emergency response. Your online shopping spree just got pricier. The tariff loophole for Chinese imports worth $800 or less is now closed. Starting now, items sent via the postal system face a 120% duty or a $100 fee. On June 1st, the flat cost option will rise to $200. Items shipped by other methods could be hit with Trump's 145% tariff hike. Shein and Temu raised prices last week in anticipation of the change, while Amazon considered showing how tariffs affect its prices on Amazon Haul, but decided against it. Now to an unusual Hollywood movie opening today, a debut at the box office unlike any other.
Today, the Alec Baldwin movie Rust opens in theaters 3.5 years after the on-set shooting that resulted in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
I was the one holding the gun, yeah. Okay.
Back in October 2021, the prop gun Baldwin was rehearsing with fired a live round, killing Hutchins and wounding director Joel Souza. Souza saying in a new interview, quote, "I wish I never wrote the damn movie," adding he never planned to finish the film but did so at the request of Hutchins' family, who wanted to see her work completed.
Some things in this life you can't get back, I reckon.
Rust is being shown at a limited number of theaters and on various streaming platforms. The reviews so far have been mixed, but critics have been praising Hutchins' work. USA Today calling the Western drama a gorgeously shot production, saying, however, it's easy to be rattled by the gunshots.
Arlen Rust. Heaven ain't waiting on neither one of us.
The Guardian criticizing the movie as poorly acted and overly long, but says it showcases how good Hutchins was at her job. Profits from the film will go to the Hutchins family. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, is serving 18 months in prison for involuntary manslaughter for failing to secure the gun on the set. Charges against Alec Baldwin were dismissed last year. President Trump has signed an executive order to cut federal funding for National Public Radio and PBS. It directs the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which manages over $500 million in public media funds, to end support. Congress created the CPB as a private entity to keep it independent from government control. The time is now 6:36 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next. A coastal Texas landmark is sharing its history with the community.
A new statement from China shows the first potential move aimed at resolving a trade war that's unleashing uncertainty and rising costs across the U.S. economy. I'm Christiane Cordero with the latest from Washington. Coming up.
The first row of storms has moved on out, as you see right there. That was earlier today. Calm for the most part for the majority of the day today. And more storms arrive coming out later this afternoon and this evening and overnight tonight. Give us a severe weather threat. We'll talk about that coming up in your forecast. And good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. And severe weather threat later on today. This is not for the current time here. Yes, it says Friday, but this is Friday afternoon, evening, and overnight for your early morning hours on Saturday morning for a pretty good numerous severe weather threat, especially north of Victoria, along I-10, even scattered severe weather possible all the way down to the coastal zones. So we need to keep our heads up about weather tonight and early tomorrow morning for the severe weather potential. Let's take a look at the future track regarding that. Storms earlier have moved offshore and giving us a break in between time. Pretty quiet through the noon hour. And then we'll see storms that begin to increase by the time we get to 5 o'clock near Gonzales area, Seguin, along I-10. And then here comes the line with the frontal zone moving through by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, according to this weather model right here, moving offshore by about 6 or 7 a.m., giving us a little break after that. But during that time period there in the early morning hours or Saturday late night tonight, moving north to south, could have some severe weather potential. Some of those storms could contain some heavy rainfall, more than likely they will, scattered around the region. And also vivid lightning, large hailstones possible, gusty winds over 50 miles per hour could be doing some damage, and not out of risk of a possible isolated tornado or two. So be weather aware coming up overnight tonight. We have an alert day for the second half of the day today, during early morning hours on your Saturday. So be weather aware. We'll keep you informed during that time as well. What about after this time period? More storms headed our way next week. Looks like it's going to be a pretty stormy pattern. We'll give the details on that later on in the full forecast to come.
As the state track meet gets underway in the Crossroads this weekend, we got a lot of field events taking place in Austin, and we'd like to send a big congratulations to Cuervo's own Paisley Jansen. She placed third in the girls' high jump. She cleared 5 feet and 6 inches. And also on track and field, we got to send a congratulations to Tidehaven's Mary Johnson, which saw her reach the podium after placing third in long jump. She jumped 19 feet for 3 1/4 inches. Mary is also a sprinter, so you can expect her in action a little bit later on today as a sprinter in some of the relay and single dashes. Good luck to Mary and the Tidehaven Tigerettes. Victoria East began their postseason at Riverside last night, taking on Milby. East, the team seeming to have the momentum in their favor after having a tiebreaker victory in a matchup against West and Cuero this past weekend. But the first series saw Milby get the 4-2 victory. And the highlights that you see on your screen right now is from the second game. And East was just a team that was able to capitalize on the mistakes from Milby and just having great defensive plays. East wins this game. Final score 4-2. The third game will be later on today at Milby. But that does it for your 25 News Now Sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
The Chinese government claims that the Trump administration has contacted them to begin trade negotiations as the effects of the ongoing trade war start to take hold.
This morning, as the trade war between the U.S. and China has stalled imports at the nation's busiest ports, the back and forth between officials is ramping up. The Chinese government suggests the Trump administration has initiated talks over President Trump's 145% tariffs, saying the United States has recently taken the initiative to discuss the trade war. Trump has repeatedly claimed China reached out to him, which Beijing denies. The talks come as major companies reveal the impact of Trump's tariffs targeting several major trading partners. General Motors predicts up to $5 billion in extra costs this year. Hershey, which imports cocoa beans, expects to lose $20 million per quarter. Apple says it could take a $900 million hit from tariffs this quarter. And McDonald's blames economic uncertainty for its biggest sales slowdown since the pandemic.
That's what we heard from McDonald's today, that it was the middle income customer that was slowing down.
Trump insists the rising prices and volatility are temporary and that his tariffs will eventually level the playing field for American businesses and bring jobs back to the U.S. His message last night to graduates at the University of Alabama:
you're the first graduating class of the golden age of America. We're in the golden age. You watch.
But John Boyd Jr., a fourth-generation farmer in Virginia, says the cost and uncertainty of doing business has forced him to adapt, just to make ends meet.
He's created a national fiasco for America's farmers. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth, and there's no oversight for this president, and it's frustrating for me.
Online retailers Shein and Temu will see higher prices beginning today when a trade loophole is lifted. Economists have warned of higher costs for everyday goods with potential shortages for certain products. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We want to know, did you purchase anything through the tariff loophole? All right, let's take a look. 10% of you say yes, and 90% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. The Luther Hotel in Palacios is opening its doors one more time, not for overnight stays, but for memories. From May 1st through May 4th, supporters are invited to the Love the Luther Giveaway, a special event where guests can take home furnishings, books, china, and other cherished pieces of the hotel free of charge. The giveaway is a gift from the new owner, J.P. Bryan. Renovations are ahead, but the Luther spirit will live on in homes across the region. The National Day of Prayer was observed in De Leon Plaza Thursday afternoon. About 60 people gathered during the noon hour and joined in prayer. The tradition dates back to the nation's founding and was designated to be observed, the first Thursday of May in 1988 by President Ronald Reagan. Church leaders from various Christian backgrounds led the ceremony with prayer, song, and testimony. The time is now 6:44 on our Friday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, a push by the Health Secretary to find alternatives for those who skip the measles vaccine. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Enrique. Happy 24th birthday, my grandson Enrique. We love you and miss you. Thank you for serving our country.
And soccer star David Beckham turns 50 today.
Happy birthday and happy second birthday to Cameron. We love you, mamas.
Definitely to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise. Come to crossroadstoday.com. Click on the drop-down menu, then click the home tab, and you'll see submit your birthday photo right there.
All right, and the time is now, let's take a look at 6:45 on our Friday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you're going to celebrate this weekend.
Definitely. We'll be right back.
This week on Community Crossroads, how your ideas could help transform Victoria. From constable to fire marshal, Richard Castillo looks back at his service to the county. If you have a baby on the way, don't miss these must-know mom tips. We'll have summer fun with the YMCA. And who's faster, cops or kids?
The kids have a load of fun. They're getting to work with the officers, for a common goal. And the officers have just as much fun as the kids do.
All right, it's time to take a look at the weather poll this morning. Will the rain threat be a factor in whether you vote or not on Saturday? It should not be. No, 67%, and already voted 33%. So get your answer in. How you can do that, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather and get your opinion in. Vote for the weather poll. And if you haven't, vote tomorrow, because tomorrow is election day. All right, let's take a look at the future tracker here. Storms have moved on out and into the coastal waters this morning, giving us quiet conditions with the majority of the daytime hours. Then our eyes focus to the north for the next round of storms coming through early tomorrow morning. Well, late in this afternoon, this evening, starting along I-10, working their way southward throughout the evening hours into early morning hours for your day tomorrow. Then a little bit of break after that, but it looks like a pretty stormy week ahead. More on that here momentarily. Temperature starting off in the 70s this morning. A little bit cool feel to the air as we go through the day. Today, that won't be the case this afternoon. It'll be well in the 80s or 90 degrees, or topping that well to the west of our region here. And with the rain shower chances again for tonight, and some of those could be on the severe side. There's a severe weather risk. For the rest of the day today, Port Lavaca, partly cloudy skies, pretty nice, mostly dry. And cloudy skies continuing by 6 p.m. Storms after that. And Cuero, cloudy skies to start, partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Rain showers and storms moving in from the north by 6 p.m. or so in northern parts of the crossroads. Victoria, pretty quiet throughout the rest of the day with partly cloudy skies. Highs in the mid-80s. We're looking for storms rolling through after sunset hour or so for Victoria County and points to the south especially. Alert day for the second half of the day today into the first half of the day for your Saturday. Be weather aware during that time. A little bit of break on Sunday, and then rain shower chances and storms again for next week. High temperatures in the 80s, a little bit cooler behind the first front on Saturday morning, and Sunday morning especially lows near 60 degrees. Going to feel nice and cool breath of air. And then rain shower chances return next week.
It's T-ball season, and children across Victoria and beyond are learning the basics of sportsmanship, teamwork, and the rules of baseball. 25 News Now reporter Lupi Zapata brings us a story of a young boy showing his team anything is possible.
You got it, dude. It's baseball time. Y'all ready, kids? Yeah. Baseball on 3. 1, 2, 3. Baseball! All right. It's Joey on pitching mound. Y'all spread out.
Let's go, Kai.
Go, let's go, go, let's go. Let's watch the pitcher.
This moment right here is what 6-year-old Kai looks forward to all week long.
Daddy, I love you!
This is Kai's first season of T-ball, and before every game, he's a bundle of excitement. His family let me tag along to one of his Monday night games.
Kai, do you get nervous at all, like right before the game?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because I like the people that cheers loud.
Do people cheering loud make you nervous, like when it's your time to hit the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do they make you excited, though? Do you get excited, too?
Yeah. Joey! Hi!
Once Kai gets to the field, his excitement grows as he's showered with attention from his fellow teammates who are all too willing to help.
I'll get the ball for him. Yeah, bro.
There you go. All right, are you ready? Go.
There you go. There you go.
Kai's mom, Jessica, serves as his legs and hypes up her son as he learns what it means for the first time to be part of a team.
Kai had asked if he could play baseball, and we told him, we would look into some challenger leagues, but in most challenger leagues, they have to be 7 to 9 years old already. and he's only 6. So we talked to Corey Banda, the president of Little League, and he wrote all the way to Pennsylvania, where Little League headquarters are, and asked if Kai could play, and they wrote back saying yes. And it was so awesome for us. He's super excited. He just likes being out here and being cheered for. He enjoys it though, and that's the whole thing for us, is finding something that he can enjoy and feel normalized.
Jessica and Kai's loved ones have wheeled into Kai's limitations head on. His wheelchair, a symbol of perseverance.
I have my first son's birthday on me, and I didn't want to do the same for Kai, so I did the wheelchair. It's something that me and him have had to go through together. It's not just a him situation.
One of the challenges Kai's family is currently facing is transporting his electric wheelchair. It's too big for their cars, and they really need a wheelchair accessible vehicle. The family has started a fundraiser to help with the expense. You can learn more and view the rest of this beautiful story on 25 News Now's website, crossroadstoday.com. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is calling on the CDC to explore new measles treatments. The Health and Human Services Secretary wants the agency to consider medications and alternatives like vitamins. HHS says the CDC still recommends the measles vaccine as the best protection, but it added some people may choose not to get the shot, and they want a way to support those people as well. There's no specific treatment once someone is infected. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. The Supreme Court faces a critical decision about who can serve in our armed forces. Transgender service members are urging the Supreme Court not to enforce a military ban. The Trump administration filed an emergency appeal last week to allow the ban during ongoing legal battles. A similar ban was previously allowed during Trump's first term. Plaintiffs warn it could leave thousands of military positions unfilled. A Pentagon watchdog is expanding its probe into Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of Signal. A second chat involving his wife, lawyer, and brother is now under review. The investigation began in April over Hegseth's use of Signal to discuss strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. Officials are also now looking into how secure info was moved to the app. More than 5 decades ago, the Soviet Union sent a spacecraft to explore Venus, but it never made it back, or it never made it beyond Earth's orbit, actually. Now, NASA reports that the probe is deteriorating and is expected to re-enter Earth's atmosphere between May 7th and May 13th. Scientists believe the lander, designed to endure Venus's harsh conditions, could see some parts survive re-entry to Earth. NASA is keeping a close watch on the situation. We want to invite y'all to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a final look at our forecast with Trey. Trey, it's such a joy having you here on Sunrise.
I'm glad to stop by. I love you guys and miss y'all, of course, but glad to stop by when I can. All right. Today, though, the storms earlier have moved on out in the weekend, so mostly quiet through the majority of the daytime hours today. Not true after about sunset or so to late night tonight, early tomorrow morning. Alert day during that time period there. That's why you see that there, kind of straddling the Friday-Saturday border there on a 7-day. And then clearing out after that. Sunday looks nice. More rain chance next week. So be weather aware later on today, tonight, and early tomorrow morning for possible severe weather around here. The chances are fairly good for that, so be weather aware. We'll keep you informed. And a little bit cooler behind the front, maybe near 60 degrees coming up for Sunday morning, feeling nice and cool by then. Humidity returns with storm chances next week.
Yes, we need to be prepared. And don't forget, if you're eligible to vote, Election Day, it's tomorrow.
Do your duty, yes.
And be sure to tune in to 25 News Now at 6 o'clock and 10 p.m.
6 and 10.
Trey will be on duty, and we'll have the latest on the election coverage, the results. And we want to thank y'all for being with us this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Good Morning America starts in just a few seconds. Have a great day.